Miraculous episodes that are airing internationally. You're like, I know, I haven't seen them back, and okay, I should probably say a couple things before I just like jump into like talking about stuff. I'm Bryce Papenbrook. Hi, everybody.
The actual Bryce Papenbrook.
The actual Bryce Papenbrook for those guys who were here yesterday. We saw Bryce step in for a bit. That was fantastic. I cannot wait to see that back. So good. So this is a Q&A panel where I'll be eating a cinnamon roll and talking about random stuff. So we can take the conversation wherever you guys like. To just give a quick intro of some of the stuff you might know me from. I'm Adrian, aka Cat Noir in Miraculous Ladybug. I was out there trolling cosplayers earlier, which is fantastic. I'm Aaron Yeager in Attack on Titan, Kirito in Sword Art Online, Meliodas in Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm Nagito and Naegi in Danganronpa, Danganronpa cosplay. Yeah, I'm actually the only actor that's been in every iteration of Danganronpa, and it's literally because of super high school level luck. So, not even joking, like I live in Los Angeles, born and raised there, and Attack on Titan was the first audition I had for Funimation, which is based in Dallas, Texas. And I was a fan of Attack on Titan before the show was getting a dub. I started watching when there were 6 episodes out in Japan, binged all 6. Who's not seen any Attack on Titan? Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're missing.
How far are you guys? You haven't seen anything.
I've seen bits and pieces flipping through TV, and I'm like, oh wait.
Episode 5, huge spoiler. You guys want to cover your ears? Wait, if you've seen it, you're okay.
Wait, you mean that episode that's...
Episode 5, don't look at me. Aaron dies. And then episode 6, Aaron's still dead. And I was like, they just Game of Thrones me. And I was hooked on the show. I fell in love with Attack on Titan. So when I got the audition, I knew what I was getting into, and I went out and bought soundproofing for my studio at home so my neighbors wouldn't call the cops on me. I think they still heard me in that audition. And something must have come through that Mike McFarlane, the director and casting director, heard that he connected to the character, and he trusted me to play Aaron, which was so cool because it was my first audition for Funimation. So in season 1, I would fly out to Dallas, record these 4-episode chunks of Attack on Titan, where I'd go into the studio and scream for about 8 hours a day. Go back to Mike's house because I got to stay with Mike, pass out, wake up the next day, and go back and scream as Aaron Yeager again. It was really fun. So on one of my trips out there, Funimation used to have this book that they put out that has all the sides of characters they're auditioning for. And one day I opened the book, I happened to be there recording, messing around with the girl at the front desk. I'm like, what are you recording? What are you auditioning for? And I open it, and it was Naegi. I'm like, oh, they have Danganronpa, it hadn't been announced yet. And I really wanted to just audition for the character I played in the game. And I was on a break, and Chris Bevins, who happened to be the director for Danganronpa, is like, hey, you play Naegi in the game, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, want to be in the anime? I'm like, yeah. And that's why I'm the only one from the LA cast in the games to be in the anime as well, because I was literally standing in the right place at the right time. So, yay, super high school level up! Yeah, I mean, other stuff, I say this like every time, Wikipedia knows much better than I do. Happy to talk about any part of the industry, whether it's, what it's like to be a voice actor, getting into voice acting, or some of the roles or shows, or anything you guys want to chat about, or just cinnamon rolls. We can talk about that too. Which, sorry, I didn't bring enough for the class. Are we going to take a bite?
Sorry.
Thank you, guys. So yes, back to Miraculous. Everyone calls Adrian a cinnamon roll. I agree. And there was this sort of, would you call it a meme to feed Adrian 2019?
It was more of a hashtag that's been going around.
Yeah.
So,
And now it's happened.
Well, yes. I'm just eating myself on stage. No, I thought it was so funny. I would run into Miraculous cosplayers that had that like sign saying like "feed me." Thought it was so funny. There's an episode where Marinette just kept like moving, or like he kept trying to get some food, and every time he would get distracted and not get the food.
I'm trying to remember what episode. Because I know in Anime show, Marinette was trying to give Adrian that macaron, but then Chloe got pulled into the antics, and then there's a Kagami sideline, and
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Who's seen Miraculous Ladybug? Awesome. Okay, for you guys who don't know what that is, it's a show from France about superheroes. The sort of lead in the show is Ladybug, and Cat Noir and her always save the city of Paris. It really reminds me of Sailor Moon because every episode there's like a bad guy from the city, and then they transform and they fight him, and it's great. It's really great. Recording on Miraculous is kind of interesting because it's a French dub versus typical anime. The definition of anime is really from Japan. So the process is slightly different. We use this thing called a rhythmoband. Have you guys heard of that? A couple people are like, yeah, and most people are like, what? So it's this band at the bottom of the screen, and all of the lines of every single character are written on the band, and there's a bar here, and your line goes like this. And they want you to say the line as it passes here. So it's basically like dubbing karaoke. So it's really challenging and interesting. I usually request a paper script also, so I don't have to deal with that rhythmoband, because sometimes it's slightly off and then it just does not sync at all. But they always use that rhythmoband in dubbing for Miraculous, so it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
What was it like to voice, how do you get into voice acting?
How did I personally get in voice acting? Sorry if you've heard this story before. So my dad was a voice actor. I was 8 years old. He was working on Power Rangers. And I used to love to go to the studio with him because they had a bunch of the rubber monster suits kind of lining the stairs up into the studio. And this one particular day, they needed a kid's voice, and my dad was like, "He's a kid, throw him in the booth!" And I got thrown in there and became a voice actor. There we go, right place, right time. That's how you do it. But in all honesty, it's taken a tremendous amount of work. Kind of growing up in the industry was awesome, but I never thought that I'd be working as a professional. I went to UCLA, studied political science and philosophy, thought I was going to go to law school, and happened to get an audition that I booked, and then another one, and another one, and another one, and I haven't looked back. But yeah, there's not really one way to get into the industry. Like, every actor you ask will give you a different kind of story and different kind of sort of experience and training that they bring to the table. I wasn't professionally or like the typical way that you're trained as an actor. I never went through any of that. I lean on a lot of sort of how I feel in the moment, and I think about martial arts also, because I grew up doing a lot of martial arts, so I know what it feels like to get punched in the face or to punch someone in the face, so I think about those real experiences and try to bring that into the shows that I'm working on. I just asked this, who's caught up with Attack on Titan now? So you guys are watching this latest season, awesome. So one thing I love that they're doing, not a spoiler, don't worry. One thing I love that they're doing is bringing like authentic martial arts into the show. So at some point, Eren is like belted in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because he's pulling all these legit moves in some of the fights, which I absolutely love because people have definitely put those moves on me before. So I know how it feels on the other side. I haven't pulled off too many Jiu-Jitsu moves. I'm very much a white belt. It's very different than the martial arts that I did. But very fun, yes.
What martial arts did you do?
What kind of martial arts? A style called Tong Sudo, which is a Korean style similar to Taekwondo, the style Chuck Norris did. And then Muay Thai, which is kickboxing from Thailand. And I taught Muay Thai and boxing, and I was a stand-up coach also for some MMA fighters. So yeah, really, really deep into the combat arts and love them. And as you can see, I'm not in fight shape anymore as I eat my cinnamon roll. Yeah.
Between Nagito and Naegi, who would you say was more fun to work at?
I mean, they're both very different. Like, Naegi was really interesting to record because we don't see the scripts before we go into the booth. So, as I was delivering the lines, especially in the first game, I had no idea what was about to happen. Like, who would die next. Who's never heard of Danganronpa? Like, you guys are like, what is that? So, in the first game, there's all these super talented high school students, and they get locked inside this school by this evil mechanical bear who tells them you have to murder another student and get away with it if you want to make it out of here alive. So very fun show, yeah, lighthearted. But the game is like a murder mystery. It's really, really cool. And my character was almost like the detective, so he's like discovering these clues and in this sort of case where they're like accusing different people of doing different things. And pointing and being like, you got that wrong! He does that a lot. So it was really fun recording as Naegi because I had no idea what was about to happen, who would go next. So it was like watching a movie in my head as I was working on the game. And Nagito is insane. I felt like I was playing the Joker. It was just so much fun to do that sort of transition and to go from almost the like, just sort of smart and innocent Naegi to this insane sort of psychopath that I'm still trying to figure out Nagito. He's just so like crazy. Yeah.
How does it feel to die twice in the same game?
I've heard from another one of my characters that people die when they are killed. It's a good fate meme. It's, you know, dying in a game or an anime doesn't mean your character's dead. Sometimes it does. But I've found with a lot of the characters that I've been cast as, I've spent a lot of time dying and then coming back in the next episode. So I always take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, it's a scary thing to have your character die because for an actor, it's like, and you're dead and also unemployed. So have fun. So it's, yeah, bye, good luck. So it's nice when it's not the case.
I have
Yeah.
more questions around those lines.
Go for it.
Especially since Nagito committed suicide. What was going through your head at the point where he was like setting the whole thing up? What was like the whole thing when you found him dead and you realized it was a suicide?
Yeah, I mean, he's just crazy. It's hard to pinpoint like what I was thinking in those moments. When you're in the booth, because you have no time to truly prepare, you just have to imagine yourself as the character and just kind of become the character for the short time that you spend with them. So I have no idea what I was doing to get myself in that headspace. I use a lot of different kinds of tricks. Sometimes I connect back to like things that have happened in my actual life that made me feel the way I think my character is feeling. So like I keep going back to Attack on Titan, Eren is a little angrier than I am in real life. Just a little bit. So I have to think of something that just makes me angry. And I have 2 Maltese poodles. They're like little white fluff balls. Toy Shih Tzu. Oh, I love little dogs. But my dogs, I had this bag of chips that I really wanted to eat. And those dogs, they got my chips. So that's all I have to do is think about my poodles, and I can be as angry as Eren. But for Nagito, I'm really not sure what was going through my mind. There's a different sort of pace when recording an anime and recording a video game. Video games kind of move a lot quicker because you're typically not working to picture, and what that means. So when you're dubbing an anime, there's a screen in front of you with the character on it, and you talk as your character's talking, and you try to make it not look like Godzilla. You try to like speak as they speak. But with a video game, the director will describe what's going on, and you really have to use your imagination and kind of bring the scene to life. So in the game, I have nothing to sort of work off of, and I kind of dive deep in my mind as I'm doing that. So there's a lot of times I walk out of those sessions and just go like, what did I just do? Because I'm just so kind of into the moment. So I'm not sure exactly what was going through my mind as Nagito, but I know he's crazy. Yeah.
How do you develop the voice you want to use for a particular role?
It's different every time. Sometimes it's as easy as looking at a piece of paper with the character's face on it and just coming up with something right on the spot and going, oh, that feels right. Sometimes it's a matter of like tossing out a couple different things and listening back. Sometimes it's more collaborative. Like you work with the director and they tell you, add 5% more of this feeling, 10% more of this feeling. And sometimes it doesn't even mean anything. But you hear that and you're like, oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like, there's directors who will say, add a little more blue to the read. That doesn't mean anything. But it works sometimes because you just think of that color and you try to add that in there and it's like, oh, that's different somehow. So it really depends on, the actor and what the character is and who you're working with. But for an audition, most of the time I just try to think about, the description as much as possible. I really try to identify something in the character that I can connect to. Whether like it's a smirk or like a facial position, and I always try to make the same face that my characters are making, which really helps. I don't know if everyone does that, but I definitely do. What?
I do that when I'm fanning.
I'm sure it helps because unlike being on screen, all you have to work with is your voice. So putting, movement without moving. Because you can't do this. Because if you turn away from the microphone, they can't hear you. But you have to have that kind of movement without turning away like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you said your dad worked on Power Rangers, right?
Yeah.
Did you meet any of the live action cast, like any of the Power Rangers or any of the monsters or villains or anything?
Yeah, I met a number of the voice actors that were on the show, but typically at that time the cast and the sort of VO cast never really hung out. Even now, the majority of the time that I record, especially for any kind of dubbing, like any anime, it's one person in the booth at a time, and you rarely even see the other people you're interacting with. But recently, because of conventions, I've met a bunch of the Power Rangers and become friends with a lot of them, especially people like Johnny and Bosch. Like, Johnny and I have worked together now for years, and even though I didn't know him back when I was growing up, we were both on a show called Trigun, So Johnny is Vash the Stampede in that show, and I play Vash as a kid. So it's awesome that now now that I've grown up and we're on Blue Exorcist, I'm the older brother, Johnny. Johnny is fantastic. I really like him. He's a great martial artist too. A lot of the moves I'm referencing in Attack on Titan, he has done to me. Because I was learning some jiu-jitsu with him and another Power Ranger named Steve Cardenas, who is a legit Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. He is just an amazing martial artist.
Have you met Jason yet?
Yeah, I was at another convention in Texas, in Corpus, and he was signing just kind of like down from me, and I was like going away from a signing, and he was coming back, and the person I was working with was a huge fan of his, so we like stopped him and had a conversation with him and snapped a quick photo, and it was very nice. Very nice. I've hung out more with Austin St. John.
Yeah.
Austin's great. And I've met a bunch of those guys now. All very down to earth and good folks. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite bomb that you left somewhere?
I have some really good ones. So, oh man, I'm totally blanking on. Well, we'll see if you guys can help me through this story. Okay. First, we need the name of the show that I can't remember, and then we need the name of my character. Good luck, guys. Okay, it's a show underwater. All the characters can breathe underwater. Really, like, my character's super delicate and soft. Okay, here's what I'm gonna have to do.
Wikipedia.
All right, Wikipedia, here we go. I hope no one's messed with my Wikipedia. Here we go. They have before, and it's so funny to find it. Actually, a friend of mine found a photo of me. It was like me in a karate uniform when I was like 7 or 6. And he like swapped the main picture for that one. I'm like, oh, that's funny. This has to be someone I know. And I looked, I'm like, my buddy's name. I'm like, I know who did this. Let's see. Looking myself up, looking myself up. So, Alone in the Sea. You did say, I didn't even say it, sorry. And Kaname is the name of my character. So, Sarah Williams plays another character in the show. And there's this scene towards the end where Kaname, who's just like the sweetest, most gentlest character, is sort of like expressing his feelings for her. And he's like leaning in and just like, he's so sweet about it. And then I just left a, F you! Just left that in there for her to enjoy. And I think she did enjoy it. It's one of my favorite. Yeah.
Have you ever injured your voice?
Injured?
Like hurt your voice from screaming?
For sure.
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan, yes. Actually, it wasn't as much Attack on Titan as Attack on Titan Junior High.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
So we called it Attack on Titan Muppet Babies. Yeah. So episode 1 in Attack on Titan. Sorry, Aaron's mom is eaten by a Titan, and he's screaming as blood is raining down on him. Episode 1 of Attack on Titan Junior High. Aaron's lunch is eaten by a Titan, and he's screaming for his lunch exactly the same way. So in that show, it's almost like everything had to be bigger than the original, and there's a moment where Aaron's carrying a boulder, and I was recording, and we got to this point, and the scream just went, ah! And it just kind of like stopped. I'm like, oh! And Mike McFarlane, the director, heard the second it happened, and he's like, and we're done for the day. And my voice just like shut off. It's like, nope, that's enough. And I came back and knocked it out the next session, but you know, I've had a lot of sort of, I call it my conditioning, and that's the martial arts of just yelling at kids and yelling at kids, and then their parents come and take class, and I yell at their parents. So I've done a lot of yelling, so I can take. I feel like I have a pretty strong voice, but there's definitely limits. Call of Duty Ghosts, for sure. I could barely talk after that session because when you're working on a military game, there's no way of faking like yelling grenade or like getting blown up or hit with shrapnel. Like you can't fake that. Like you have to really yell past the point of protecting your voice. Also, if the director is skilled and knows sort of like what's going on in an episode and how big the yells are, they'll protect the actors to kind of extend how long you can record. So for Sword Art Online, we would save the screams all till the end. We would actually leave like 15 minutes every recording session just to scream. And the scream in the first episode was a really important one.
Oh yeah.
And we probably did that about 50 times over a number of days because Mr. Matsuoka was able to capture a lot of emotion and a lot of, I don't know, when I heard the scream that he did for the first time, it like gave me the chills, like gave me goosebumps. And I feel like we wanted to capture that also. So we worked really hard to try to get something that would do it also. And I'm proud of what they were able to get out of me after all of that work. It was worth it. But yeah, if there's no way I could just jump in and just yell like that over and over and over. So I know I kind of know when something's going to hurt my voice, and it's always important, you know, as an actor to speak up and say, hey, if I do this one now, that's probably going to be it for me if you're going to do it right. So directors will push that stuff to the end, and then they're like, all right, good luck. Yeah.
Have you ever like gotten into your character too much, knocked something over, or hurt yourself?
So when I was recording for Titan, it was these, you know, big long batches, and I would fly back to Los Angeles and still be angry and just scream at people in traffic.
I mean,
So-
just Aaron in general.
What was that?
That just Aaron in general.
Yeah, couldn't get out of Aaron mode. So, you know, Titan in traffic is always fun. Just me in my car like this. Like other drivers. Okay, so we'll kind of work from the back forward. So yeah, right there, and then you're next. Okay? Yes.
Do you have any post or pre-vocal warm-ups that you do before you go into the booth?
Yeah, yelling at people in traffic. I know some people do have like sort of warm-ups that they do. I really don't. I just kind of jump in there and kind of warm up in the booth. Yeah, it just comes from the way that I kind of learned, and that's from just being in there and just kind of doing it.
So you're improv.
Yep, you live in the moment. You really do. So I guess it is, even though it's a very interesting experience because you're inside this creative box, meaning they don't adjust the flaps or the animation on the screen, and there's already a performance that's kind of set the tone, and that's the Japanese savior. So you have to stay, obviously, you know, true to the sync and somewhat true to the Japanese performance, but at the same time make it your own. So it's being creative in that box and pushing to the limits of what you can do while still staying true to the original. Like, it's interesting. But what I really try to do is not just emulate the Japanese actor, but take inspiration from what's in there and create something entirely new that will pull the same feelings from the audience. So if you watch, you know, a Japanese and English comparison, it's almost not fair. You want to take the whole performance and look at it that way. And in other languages, sometimes they get to things that they want in a different way. So a joke might not even be funny in English, that's funny in Japanese, and vice versa. So like in a show like Blood Lad, we changed a ton of the jokes because in English we're just like, what does that mean? And I'm sure it's funny for the Japanese audience, but we didn't even understand, like, there were jokes about, like, these soccer players and things that were like, what? But fortunately, day one of that recording, the producers came in and they're like, don't even worry about the script. You guys have fun. And we did. So it's always kind of different, you know? Okay, yes.
What was your idea of voice acting before you started voice acting?
Like my thought of what voice acting would be?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I always got my perspective from just watching my dad and seeing like kind of him go, and he would. There's still things that he had worked on that are still like kind of coming out that I'm discovering even now. So my dad passed away. It's been 13 years. So it's really amazing that I have the opportunity to carry on the torch. And you know, for him, he would just kind of go to work like it was just a normal job. And conventions didn't exist like they do now when he was really recording a lot. I think he would have loved doing this stuff. He was just hilarious, sort of larger than life. He's one of those people who would walk in a room and then everyone would just look at him because he's so loud and big.
Like you.
I'm loud, maybe not as big. But he had this deep, sort of booming voice. So he was very good at demanding attention. But yeah, I think I took all my perspective of, you know, acting from him. It was just kind of normal for him to go into work and come back and not even say what he was working on. It was just another day on the job. And I know that every time he was acting, he was having fun. So that's what I really try to do also. Yeah, no problem. Okay, jump over here. Yes.
So my question, going back to Miraculous, did you get a chance to see the Oblivio challenge that the fans had put on Twitter and on Instagram?
I have no idea what that is.
So
you have to tell me.
It involves the you know how at the end there's that big moment between Cat Noir and Ladybug right before.
No spoiler. No spoiler.
Yeah, that big moment at the end that Ollie ends up capturing on camera.
Mm-hmm.
There's the people composited together, like we recorded our reactions to it, and a couple fans put together just a video of all the reactions and.
Oh, yeah. I did see.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a couple of those videos with like a ton of the reactions. Someone put together like a compilation.
Yeah.
Of just like the best moments of all the reactions.
Yeah, I know. I did it, and I think I don't know if I can't remember one of the two, but I was the one. I had my glasses on, and I was probably the only one I think that had tissues on hand.
Oh, you were ready.
I was ready, and yeah, I don't know obviously without spoiling, like what was your your reaction when that finally happened? Because I mean, there's Dark Cupid, but this one was for real.
Yeah. I mean, I shipped the whole square, so you know, happy and sad at the same time. But happy because I hope they never figure out who each other are, because then the show will keep going. And we can keep working on it, because I feel like that's what it's sort of leading up to, right? At some point they have to figure it out.
Seasons 4 and 5 have already been confirmed.
Really?
They have stuff for possibly for even 6 and 7 as well, if if fans still want it.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's really fun working on the show, so I hope it continues to go. And I hope I get to finally watch back all of those episodes, because as we record, we're really only focused on what Adrian and Cat Noir are doing, and a lot of the time the other actors haven't been in to record, so I don't know how they sound or what it's going to be like, so I really don't get a true feel for the episodes until I watch them back. And I haven't seen any of this latest season yet, because it's all international right now. I gotta pop over to Zach and be like, yo, hook me up, guys. Yeah.
So with a lot of the abridged series and stuff like that becoming more and more popular, how do you feel about the shows that like Sword Art Online, Abridged, and I think it's the Seven Deadly Schmucks or something like that. How do you as a voice actor kind of take that kind of stuff and like process it?
I think it's hilarious. Actually, I'm part of a mobile app. I co-founded a mobile app called Unlocked. And what Unlocked was sort of set to do and was inspired from is conventions like this one. We really wanted more people to experience the awesome stuff that happens at these cons. So we thought we want to try to bottle all of that excitement and fun into a mobile app. So that's what we're trying to do with Unlocked. And it's created some really awesome experiences. So one of my favorite times on the app, we have basically to recreate a panel, you can broadcast and then talk to people around the world. And people can join multi-stream, like FaceTiming, but in front of everyone else who's in the chat and talking and hanging out. It's really fun. So Something Woody Entertainment, who does SAO Abridged, they were running a panel, and they were watching episode 1 of Sword Art Online Abridged, and I crashed their panel and hung out and watched it with them. And it was really, really fun. It's just like a lot of laughing and a lot of, enjoying their ridiculous work. Oh, and a lot of pickles. Yeah. So, leading up to that, I'll give you the story behind the pickles. We were collaborating with them, and we're like, hey, we want to tell people that we're going to make this happen. That I'm going to watch the Abridged series for the first time with you guys. And we're like, do you guys want to come up with some kind of promo and just write a script, and we're happy to be involved with it. Just send it our way. And they're like, sure, you got it. And they sent us this script, and it was all around me showcasing some pickles. Because why not? Actually, I'll play the audio for you.
Oh, yes.
I'll just search something Woody pickles.
And then also kind of tied with that, how did you feel about the Kirito's Always Right Foundation?
I saw that also, and I think that's very funny. So he's such a jerk. So the title of this video is M. Night Shyamalan's The Pappening. Bryce Papenbrook.
That's the Pap. 1-800. That's the Pap.
Okay, here we go. Hold on, wait. Stop it, YouTube. Stop it. Okay, here we go. Sorry you can't see it. It's me struggling. I'll describe it as I play the audio. That'll be fun. Me trying to open a jar of pickles. Me screaming at a jar of pickles. Can you guys even hear it?
Is there a way to play it on the...
Yeah, hey, yeah, can you guys... You can?
Yeah.
Can I,
hold on.
search M. Night Shyamalan's The Pappening. It's on YouTube.
I'm trying to remember what episode it was of the current season of SAO where they referenced the 100 floors and Kirito's reaction.
That was really funny. That was really funny to record. Has that aired yet?
I don't know. I don't have cable, so I'm waiting for the dub on Funimation now.
It was really funny to record. Yeah, it's really you'll enjoy it when you see it back. We had a good time recording.
How do you like the newest Alicization and stuff like that?
So who's seen any of the Alicization arc? I think it's incredible. Sword Art Online has this way of reinventing itself over and over again. Like every single arc feels like a new show. And here we go. Got it?
Got it.
Whenever you're ready, you can play the Pappening video. I'll just eat a cinnamon roll as it's playing.
And we've got video. Even better.
So immediately after this came out, I went to a convention in New York, and someone brought me a jar of pickles, and I was so
Well, isn't there a deal you can send any streamer that's called Bryce Pickles?
We made some swag immediately after.
Wish there was a better way? Well, now there is!
Hi, I'm a minor internet sleuth. And today, I'd like to talk to you about Unlocked. Unlocked is an exciting new app that allows you to connect with your better network of voice actors. Actors such as Channing Michael Tatum, Tab Cabbage, Schmirkin Fernamark, and Broly. There's more. Every Friday at 6 p.m. PST, local heartthrob Something Witty Entertainment will be streaming on said app. Truly, this app is all things to all people. Isn't that right, Josh Paperback?
Well, what about my pickle jar? Don't worry, it's unlocked. Shut the fuck up, Bryce Papenbrook. Streaming network. Something Witty Entertainment. Be there! I'm sorry, Bryce. I didn't mean
So we got the script from them, and just describing this, and we're just like, wait, what? Okay. But it was very fun collaborating with them. I love stuff like this, and yeah, I've always thought that the Abridged series were really funny. The first one I watched, I actually did it in front of a crowd. It was the Attack on Titan Abridged from Team 4-Star.
Oh, yes.
And people kept asking me, have you seen this? Have you seen this? I'm like, let's just watch it. So watching it in front of a crowd was really fun. And yeah, I was cracking up. You sound like a majestic eagle! That's still my favorite part. Yeah, I'm all about the Abridged series because sometimes they actually bring people to discover and watch the shows, and I think that's really cool. As long as they sort of pay credit to the original creators of the content and direct people to where they can find, you know, the dubs or buy the Blu-rays, and they're supporting the industry, I'm all for it. But that's me as not someone who has created this content, who is just part of the sort of English cast. I don't know how the companies feel about it. Okay, yes. I only have a couple more minutes, so I'll try to answer as many as possible. And if you didn't ask a question or you think of one, you can always ask me during autographs. Yes.
What is your favorite anime that you voice acted?
Oh man, I mean, how can I choose one?
Picking your favorite child.
Yeah, seriously. Like all of my characters, I have a connection with. So it's like picking your favorite kid, and all of my kids that I'm part of live inside my head and are insane and screaming. So I don't want to pick one because they'll probably yell at me. Okay, I got time for one or two more. Yes.
What's your favorite line from Seven Deadly Sins?
Probably something dirty that Meliodas says. There's so many good moments. It's hard to narrow it down to one. Do you have a favorite one? No? Probably one of the ones about, I'm just checking for a heartbeat. Good times. Or one about eating hawk. Those are always fun. I love yelling those out when I'm near Christina V. One more. Yes, in the back. Be louder. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Do you have advice on like being a voice actor and not being embarrassed?
Yeah. That's actually a big part of becoming a voice actor and a performer in general. I think for me, I tend just not to be embarrassed at all. And once you let go of that, once you just have fun, it frees you up to actually perform and to be creative. So it's all part of, you know, growing as an actor. I feel like maybe what made my career move forward was letting go of feeling any sort of embarrassment or nervousness or anything and just not caring anymore. I don't know if you hit a certain age or you hit a certain moment and just realize, like, what does being nervous do for me in a situation where I'm auditioning or performing? And it doesn't really do much unless you harness it in a way that helps your performance, unless you use it to kind of energize you or make you step up your game or do something different. Like, it's all finding how to do that. But I would say a good exercise is to think, this, like, how I'm feeling right now, this embarrassment, how is it benefiting my performance? Is it helping me? Is there really any reason to feel embarrassed? And maybe just kind of thinking about it a little bit more will help you fight through it. And the other way to get past it is just be an actor more. Go out and get in front of an audience. Do those things that make you feel embarrassed, and then it just gets kind of easier to do. Get a ton of experience. That's the way to do it. And I hope you get past that if that's something you want to do. Well, thank you guys. This was really fun. I believe I have autographs next door immediately after this. So I hope you guys will come by and hang out. Thanks, everybody.
I'm going to clean this up on my wall until middle school.